What if everything you've been taught to chase, the success, the status, the perfect life, is the very thing keeping you trapped in a cycle of quiet dissatisfaction? We spend our days building an identity we believe the world will reward, crafting a self from the raw materials of expectation and ambition. It's a pursuit that feels noble, even necessary, yet a whisper persists, a quiet question that grows louder in our stillest moments. What if the goal itself is an illusion? For decades, perhaps for our entire lives, we are sold a single compelling story. It's a story that tells us fulfillment is a destination, a point on the horizon we can reach with enough effort, enough accumulation, enough approval. We pour our energy into this project of becoming. We chase the promotions, the perfect relationships, the curated image, the validation from peers and strangers alike. And for a time, the chase itself gives us purpose. It gives our days a structure, but there comes a point, perhaps after a hard-won achievement or in the middle of a quiet night, where the structure feels hollow. What happens when you finally arrive at the place you've been running toward, only to discover the emptiness you carried with you has simply taken a new shape? The goal is reached, the box is checked, and the familiar feeling of, "Is this all there is?" settles back in, heavier than before. This isn't a personal failure. It isn't a sign that you didn't try hard enough or want the right things. This is the core human predicament. We awaken to ourselves as conscious beings adrift in a vast, unpredictable, and often painful world. We are aware of suffering, our own and others. We are uniquely aware of time, of our own inevitable end, and of the fragile, fleeting nature of everything we hold dear. From this awareness springs a deep, primal loneliness, a confusion about our purpose here, and a fundamental urge to find solid ground, to secure our position, to make sense of the senseless. Our first, most instinctive response is to conquer this feeling from the outside in. We try to build a fortress. We amass material security, seek positions of power and influence, pursue technological comforts and distractions, anything to create a buffer between our sensitive inner world and the chaotic external one. We believe if we can just control enough of the outside, the inside will finally settle. But life, in its wisdom, has a way of dissolving our certainty, because the moment one external worry is solved, another quietly, inevitably, takes its place. The fortress is never complete. The wall is never high enough. The buffer always develops a leak. So we turn our gaze inward. If the world cannot be fully controlled, perhaps the mind can. The problem, we conclude, must be internal. We attempt to master our own thoughts and emotions. We engage in the noble work of self-improvement. We practice positive thinking, fill journals with affirmations, learn techniques to smooth the ruffled surface of our consciousness. We try to cultivate peace, to manufacture contentment from the inside. But for all our effort, a deeper, more honest suspicion lingers. Are we not just hypnotizing ourselves? Are we not just building a more sophisticated buffer, this time made of thoughts instead of things? Beneath our carefully managed focus lies a vast and uncharted unconscious, a deep ocean of memory, impulse, and primal energy that erupts into our lives as unpredictably as any external event. We cannot schedule our dreams. We cannot reason away a sudden grief or a surge of irrational fear. So we seek guides. We turn to therapists, coaches, and gurus. hoping they can hold up a mirror to these hidden parts of ourselves. Yet this pursuit leads to a profound and puzzling logical loop. If you are the one that is broken, and you are also the one holding the tools to fix it, who exactly is the mechanic? Who is fixing the fixer? It's the ancient recursive puzzle. Who polices the police? We often try to solve this by splitting ourselves in two. We talk of a higher self, a wise spiritual Atman, tasked with improving the lower self, the flawed and needy ego. But if both are contained within the field of your own awareness, if both voices speak in the first person, where does true, impartial transformation actually begin? The very act of pursuit creates a division, a civil war within. We set ourselves against ourselves. We are forever chasing the positive, the light, the good, the spiritual, while desperately running from the negative, the dark, the painful, the mundane. We want the joy without the sorrow, the gain without the loss, the peak without the valley. But our very consciousness, the mechanism of our awareness, is built on contrast. Light is defined by darkness. Sound is defined by silence. We cannot know one without the other. Our nervous system itself operates on a binary code of firing and not firing. In trying to arrange a life game where we only ever win, we fail to recognize that winning is meaningless without the possibility of loss. We fail to see that a saint is only recognizable because ordinary people, even fools, exist. The pursuit of a wholeness that excludes half of the human experience is not a path to peace. It is the engine of endless futile seeking. This understanding leads to a profound and deeply frustrating realization. Active striving, pushing toward an ideal self, doesn't work. It reinforces the division. So we pivot. We try the opposite. We attempt not to strive. We work to eliminate desire itself, as so many profound teachings have suggested. We sit in meditation, willing ourselves to want nothing. But here, we encounter the final, most clever trap of all. In the very act of trying not to desire, you are still desiring. You desire not to desire. You are striving for non-striving. So you find yourself perfectly, maddeningly stuck. You cannot reach peace by trying, nor can you authentically reach it by not trying. Every door you approach seems to be locked from the inside. Every tool you pick up is part of the problem it claims to solve. It is at this precise crossroads, in the exhaustion of this paradox, that a different kind of understanding can emerge. What if the answer isn't about building a better, shinier, more spiritual self? What if it's about seeing through the fundamental illusion of the separate, lacking self entirely? To understand this, consider the journey of someone who actually reached the summit of worldly success. Imagine an artist, an actor, a creator who achieved the fame, wealth, and admiration that millions dream of. They became a symbol of freedom and laughter for the world. They played a character of ultimate liberation on the global stage. And yet, in a moment of stark honesty, they realized a terrible irony. They had offered that freedom to millions, but had never extended it to themselves. They looked in the mirror and asked the raw, terrifying question: who am I without the mask? Without the applause? The character they had built with such care and talent, the character the world loved, was just that. A character, a role, a performance. And the realization dawned, not as a thought but as a feeling. I am not the avatar I created for public consumption. I am not the flickering image on the film stock. I am the light that shines through to create the image. Everything else, the personality, the accomplishments, the reputation, is a temporary beautiful shape that the light takes for a while. You are not the role you play in the world. You are the aware, conscious presence behind it. The space in which the role appears and disappears. When this truth is even glimpsed, even for a moment, a deep systemic exhaustion can surface. We have a name for this. We call it depression, burnout, a breakdown. But what if this collapse isn't a malfunction, but a profound communication? What if it's your entire being, body, mind, and spirit, finally demanding a deep, radical rest from the exhausting, lifelong performance? It is the body saying, I cannot hold up this avatar you've created any longer. The costume is too heavy. It is not a sign of weakness, but an invitation to truth, a summons to stop pretending. In this space, the ego's constant background whisper that you are not enough yet, that you need more achievement, more validation, more enlightenment, begins to lose its compelling power. You start to see it as a recording, not a command. True peace, you realize, doesn't come from a future achievement. It is found right now, in the courageous act of releasing the need to prove anything at all. This shift, when it comes, changes everything. The frantic, anxious search for a solid identity begins to relax. You start to see how the desperate need for acceptance has often made you invisible, has caused you to edit yourself into a palatable shadow of who you are. A new imperative arises. Don't let anything, no fear, no expectation, no old story, stand in the way of the light that you fundamentally are. You see that fear has been a secret screenwriter for your life, and its favorite repetitive title has always been a variation of I am incomplete. But you begin to question the authorship of that story. The so-called happy place isn't a new location you arrive at. It is the realization that you are not, and never have been, a separate fragment struggling to become whole. You are already the whole, temporarily and playfully pretending to be a single, isolated part. The ocean believing itself to be a wave. Of course, the mind, the habitual thinker, will resist this stillness. It is a creature of activity. It will immediately fabricate worries about a future that doesn't exist and dig up regrets about a past that is gone. It will do anything to avoid the simple, overwhelming truth of the present. But all there ever is, all you can ever actually experience, is this moment. And within this moment, the choices we make, what to say, how to act, where to focus, are based in only one of two fundamental energies, love or fear. So many of the practical, responsible choices we pride ourselves on are made from fear cleverly disguised as wisdom. We stay in soul-crushing jobs, remain in lifeless relationships, and silence our deepest callings because we are afraid of uncertainty, of judgment, of failure. We never dare to honestly ask the universe for what we most deeply want, believing our desires are too grandiose, too ridiculous, too much. But what if you, in your very existence, are the proof that you can ask? What if the act of asking from a place of authentic desire is the first step in aligning with a flow much larger than your isolated plans? This understanding radically transforms our relationship with concepts like purpose and art. We have been conditioned to believe our purpose must be our career, our grand legacy-defining life's work. But for many, that framing creates unbearable pressure. Often the job is simply the thing that supports the life, and the life, the way you move through the world, the attention you pay, the love you give, is where your true purpose resides. Your purpose is not a single title. It is to show others how you see the world. To share your unique perception. Authenticity in this sharing is the only gift that truly matters. The only thing that ever connects deeply. When you create a piece of art, start a project, or even have a conversation with the primary goal of gaining approval, you inevitably dilute the very thing you are making. You make it for an imagined audience, and in doing so, you separate from the raw truth of the expression. Paradoxically, the exhausting need for acceptance vanishes when you are simply, unabashedly yourself. People don't resonate with perfect, polished projections. They resonate with genuine, flawed, human experience, the shared vulnerability of being alive. We operate under a massive cultural misunderstanding. We believe that outward, visible success will fundamentally change how we feel on the inside. We think the internal landscape will be automatically upgraded once we get the key to the corner office, the sold-out show, the large bank account. But it does not. External success can change your circumstances. It can make life more comfortable or convenient. But the internal landscape, the weather system of your thoughts and emotions, remains untouched unless you bring conscious, compassionate attention to it directly. You can spend 20 years in single-minded toil toward a glittering goal, sacrificing joy and connection along the way. You can finally achieve that goal, stand on the pinnacle, and be greeted not by euphoria, but by a hollow, chilling hopelessness. I gave everything for this. The fulfillment we seek like a holy grail is not waiting for us out there in the world of form. It is an internal discovery, an uncovering of what was present before the chase ever began. This journey of uncovering almost always requires a moment of surrender. A point where the carefully constructed life you've been building, the one based on effort, control, and willpower, collapses under its own weight. In the quiet, dusty aftermath of that collapse, when striving has exhausted itself, a different kind of voice can sometimes speak. It might come at your absolute lowest point, a moment of health crisis, a personal disaster, a rock-bottom realization where you finally, truly ask for help. And in that raw vulnerability, in the emptiness left when the old ways fall apart, a clear, internal voice might cut through the noise. It might simply say, "It's over. The struggle is finished. Now you can start living." And with those words, a miracle might happen. The craving for the old life, the obsessive thinking, the gnawing anxiety is simply gone. It is replaced not by a new set of beliefs, but by a simple, powerful, and quiet presence. You wake up, not to a new dream, but from an old one. From this new ground of being, life is no longer primarily a series of problems to be solved or ambitions to be conquered. It becomes a mystery to be participated in, a curious unfolding to which you belong. You may discover creative capacities you never knew you had. The urge to paint, to write, to compose music, not to be famous, but simply because the act of expression is a joy. Resentment from the past, those old stories of wrongs done to you, is seen for what it is, a dead weight you have chosen to carry, a weight that actively keeps you from living fully in the now. You learn to acknowledge the pain, honor the experience, and then consciously choose to put the weight down, to move on. Because you see with devastating clarity that carrying that resentment, rehearsing that old story, is not justice. It is a form of living death, a refusal to participate in the present. Your perception begins to soften and open. You start to see miracles, not in the spectacular, but in the ordinary. The steady, rhythmic beat of your own heart. A masterpiece of biological engineering you did nothing to earn. The quiet, trusting sleep of an animal. The feel of your own hands. Hands that have carried you through decades of experience, now showing the honest map of time. These are not small, sentimental things. In their alive presence, they are everything. With this widened perspective, the anxious concern for your legacy becomes irrelevant, almost humorous. When the final curtain closes on this performance, what remains is not a list of achievements, but the silent, awe-inspiring wonder of the energy that was a life. The only meaning that finally emerges from the tapestry of experience is this: everything you ever truly, deeply sought, peace, love, freedom, belonging, eventually found you. It didn't happen when you captured it. It happened when you stopped chasing. When you became still and open enough to recognize it had been here all along. So what is the point? The reason we are here is not to stand alone on a mountaintop as a celebrated soloist. It is to play our unique, essential part in a vast, interconnected symphony. Play your part with authenticity, not with an eye on the critic's review. Pay attention, be present, make each choice, however small, count from a place of love and curiosity, not from fear and contraction. This is how we truly live. And if you found any value, any resonance in these words, please like this video. That simple act helps winds of thought share this perspective with others who might be listening for it, who might need this reminder during their own quiet moment of searching. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening.